It was late. The prison was silent. Concrete walls, steel doors, armed guards, surveillance cameras. Inside one of Mexico's most secure prisons, a man stepped into the shower area of his cell. The cameras could not see him for a few seconds. Just a few seconds. And when the guards checked, he was gone. No broken bars, no alarms, no explosions, just a hole in the floor, below it, a tunnel stretching nearly a mile underground, fully ventilated, electrified, engineered with rails and a motorcycle. This was not a movie. This was real, and the man who vanished that night was one of the most powerful criminals in modern history. His name was Joaquín Guzmán, but the world knew him by another name, El Chapo. Tonight, we tell the complete story, the rise of a farm boy from the mountains, the creation of a billion-dollar empire, 2 historic prison escapes, and the final downfall of a man who once seemed untouchable. Joaquín Archibaldo Guzmán Loera was born in 1957 in the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico. The region was rugged and poor. Families survived through farming, corn, beans, livestock. Life was hard. Education was limited. Opportunities were almost non-existent. But the mountains held something more valuable than crops. They were perfect for growing opium poppies and marijuana. The drug trade had already taken root in Sinaloa long before. Guzmán was born as a young boy. Joaquín worked the fields. By his teenage years, he understood something important. Illegal crops brought far more money than legal farming ever could. In a region where poverty was normal, crime looked like opportunity, and for Guzmán, ambition burned stronger than fear. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Guzmán joined operations connected to the powerful Guadalajara cartel. He worked under experienced traffickers. He learned logistics. He learned smuggling techniques. He learned how to move drugs across borders undetected. But most importantly, he learned the value of organization. This was not random crime. This was business. When the Guadalajara cartel collapsed after arrests of major leaders, the organization fractured, and from that chaos, the Sinaloa Cartel was born. Under Guzmán's leadership, it grew into one of the most powerful trafficking organizations in the world. The cartel expanded routes into the United States. It trafficked cocaine from Colombia. It produced heroin and methamphetamine at industrial scale. It developed sophisticated underground tunnels beneath the US-Mexico border. Authorities later estimated that Guzmán's empire generated billions of dollars annually. Some reports claimed his fortune reached over $12 billion. He became one of the most wanted men on earth, yet for years, he remained hidden. The Sinaloa Cartel was not just a gang, it was an international network, distribution hubs, money laundering operations, corrupt officials, armed enforcers. It operated like a corporation. While violence surrounded the drug war, in Mexico, Guzmán built alliances and strategies that strengthened his position. He became known not only for ruthlessness, but for intelligence. He avoided unnecessary attention. He bribed strategically. He negotiated when needed. He struck hard when threatened. Entire cities felt the impact of cartel wars. Families were caught in crossfire. Communities were destabilized, while Guzmán's wealth increased. So did the violence tied to drug trafficking, and eventually the law caught up. In 1993, Guzmán was captured in Guatemala and extradited to Mexico. He was sent to Puente Grande prison, maximum security, or so it was supposed to be. But inside prison walls, Guzmán reportedly continued directing operations. Corruption was widespread. He allegedly received privileges, visitors, communication access. And then, in January 2001, he executed one of the most shocking prison escapes in modern history. January 19, 2001, official reports claimed Guzmán escaped hidden inside a laundry cart. Other investigations suggested assistance from prison officials, regardless of the method. He walked out of prison, just like that. Mexico faced international embarrassment. A massive manhunt began. But Guzmán returned to the mountains of Sinaloa. And for 13 years, he disappeared again. Between 2001 and 2014, Guzmán rebuilt his empire stronger than ever. The Sinaloa Cartel expanded globally. Drug routes reached Europe and Asia. Authorities across multiple countries coordinated efforts to capture him. But Guzmán remained elusive. He moved constantly. Safe houses, rural hideouts, mountain compounds. Some locals protected him, others feared him. His legend grew. To some, he was a symbol of rebellion against poverty. To others, he was responsible for unimaginable violence. But legends eventually face reality. And in 2014, reality arrived. In February 2014, Mexican Marines captured Guzmán in Mazatlan. This time, he was sent to Altiplano prison, Mexico's highest security facility. Constant surveillance, reinforced concrete, limited movement, no luxury. Authorities promised there would be no second escape. They were wrong. July 11th, 2015. Guzmán stepped into the shower. The camera angle did not fully capture the floor. Moments later, he disappeared. Beneath the shower was a hole. Beneath the hole, a tunnel nearly a mile long, with lighting, ventilation systems, a modified motorcycle on rails. It was engineering brilliance and global humiliation for Mexican authorities. Once again, El Chapo vanished. The world watched in disbelief. 6 months later, in January 2016, Mexican Marines raided a safe house in Los Mochis, Sinaloa. Gunfire erupted. After a brief firefight, Guzmán was captured. This time, there would be no more tunnels, no more laundry carts, no more escapes. In 2017, he was extradited to the United States. In federal court in New York City, prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence. Former cartel members testified. Trafficking routes were mapped. Bribery networks exposed. The image of invincibility collapsed. In 2019, Joaquín Guzmán was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years, no parole. Today, Guzmán is held at ADX Florence, the most secure prison in the United States. Isolation. Concrete, silence. And hours a day in a cell, the man who once commanded an empire now lives in confinement. No tunnels, no power, no escape. The story of El Chapo is not just about crime. It is about ambition without limits. Power built on corruption, wealth built on destruction. For years he seemed unstoppable, but every empire, no matter how powerful, eventually faces consequences, and no tunnel is deep enough to escape justice forever.